It's okay, you can. Not everyone can, but you can.
I'm Canadian. It's very bad. I lose my passport if I'm in flight. Okay. 1 minute. In minuit.
Real quick.
If you want potato chips, I've got something.
Thai chips?
Crisps, whatever you want to call them.
Hi, how you going?
Come off the circle, the biggest thing you guys can do is bring the box out. Right? On the circle, the biggest thing you guys can do is bring the box out. You box them out, it's no longer a 50-50 ball, right? Offensively, go in, start to read, right? Looking for a call, we're using the card, okay? Defensively, we're in play.
Did you get some time in time?
Everyone talk.
We ran up.
Make sure that we're active on that side.
And then the other one, this earlier one, I had the other two.
Toe lines. No, 2 toe lines. Let's get this started. Spare sticks. Spare sticks.
Because I just ran one. It took me 10 minutes. I managed to get out that gate.
Oh yeah, that's where I came in.
Yeah. But when I came back out, they said no. When I tried to come back, everything was locked. And I ran around and around.
You said, are you helping out? I said, yes, I have to be on this game.
Because there was no one, they had locked it and they said, we're not letting you in because the guy said the protesters have come through. And of course, I had to run.
Anybody here? Anybody here?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Have you heard them? They got in, they put their flags up and the guy was so... No, just, it was like...
So that when I do that with it, I was like, I'm supposed to be over here. Did you get a bag? Oh, take it on the order. So that's 5 hours.
Yeah, that's good. No, I just need it right now. No.
I think one of these would look excellent at my house.
We have this at the stick shift. It's a sensor.
When you go around me.
Get those three covered. So that's all.
How do I get it? Yes.
Stretching. That's the same thing. Those pockets are illegal. And then Aaron's in front of
Alright. Make sure that we're good for announcements. Andy, are we ready to go for announcements and sorts? Okay. Just give me the thumbs up. Thank you. We've got a few on the side. We're just waiting for Chip. I know you to announce and get the anthems ready. Box up there? Check. You only get 3, so make it good. Just kidding.
It's going to be falling down.
It's got a bit of time.
I'm not even sure anymore.
Then yes, it is.
When can I request?
You can request
See if I can get it sorted today.
So let's say they call me, they come out, they take possession. I say hostage. I got 1.
Thank you. where's Chip?
Are we all good? Good now? Everyone's good?
The Australian. Just in case. Safety first? We're just very efficient.
Hello, we're all right up there.
And the rest you come up on the line.
Okay, ready to go. We take that stick out of the table until half
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the University of Edinburgh at the Beverly Sports Complex for this afternoon's game between New Zealand and Japan. This is the third game here in this field. This is the opening day of the 2015 Under-19 World Championships of Lacrosse.
Welcome everyone to the FIL Rathbones Women's Under-19 World Championship match between Japan and New Zealand. Starting a bit late as there was an overtime match earlier. My name is Dave Simpson. I'm the head coach of the Scotland senior national team, and I've been invited to do a bit of commentary for you, let you know what's happening on the pitch, and for those of you who are less familiar with the sport of lacrosse, do a bit of explanation of what you're seeing on the pitch. What's happening now is the teams are lining up for their national anthems, and we'll get the match underway.
Would like to introduce you to both teams. First, for New Zealand, number 1, Ella Ramsley. Number 5, Tegan Edmonds. Number 6, Taylor Barker. Number 7, Anna Dawson. Number 8,
just now the
Rose.
public service announcer is
Number
introducing
9,
the teams. We
Harriet
will
Beattie.
also introduce the teams to you
Number
shortly
10, Georgia
for the
Carter.
webcast.
Number 12, Ollie Archer. Number 15, Elise Windsor. Number 16, Phoebe Bardul. Number 17, Aaron Parker.
Let's see, we are going to
George
actually
Archer.
bring you those lineups now. Which
Number
lineup are we doing
21,
first?
Alan Hackett. Number 22, Samantha
Ah.
Highland. Number 25, Samantha
Okay,
Hackett
so
and
let me
Ross.
introduce the New Zealand squad to you. Number 1
28,
is Ella
Samantha
Ransley.
Frizzle.
Number 5, Tegan
Number
Edmonds.
30, Tori
Number
Crisford.
6, Taylor Barker.
Number 36,
Number 7,
Paige
Anna
Shawhouse.
Dawson. Number 8 is Gemma
Head coach,
Rose.
Remington Steele.
Number 9, Harriet Beattie.
Assistant coach,
Number
Joseph
10, Georgia
Halper.
Carter.
Assistant
Number
coach,
12,
Jeff
Arlie
Evans.
Archer. Number
Assistant
15,
manager,
Elise
Amy
Windsor.
Rutledge.
Number 16,
Physio,
Phoebe Bardul.
Claire Miller.
Number 17, Aaron
Team
Parker.
New Zealand.
Number 18 is Georgia Archer. 21,
Introducing
Ellen
Team
Hackett.
Japan.
22 is Samantha
Number 1,
Highland.
Chihiro Onoki.
25 is Savannah
Number 2,
McAdamy Rash.
Moyu Takemoto.
Number 28 is Samantha
Number 3,
Quintal.
Kaoru Hirano.
Number 33 is Tori Crisford.
Number
And number
4,
36 is
Takuro
Paige
Hashisume.
Salthouse. So that's the New Zealand squad.
Number 5, Naomi Iwata.
Let me introduce you to the Japan squad.
Number
And
6,
I
Eri
apologize
Ishikawa.
in advance for any mispronunciations
Number
that are
7,
bound to happen
Nozomi
here.
Tanaka.
Number 1, Chihiro
Number 8,
Onoki.
Manami
Number
Odaka.
2, Moyu
Number
Takamoto.
9,
Number
Irei
3,
Tamaki.
Kaoru Hirano.
Number 10,
Number 4,
Asuka
Sakura
Koe.
Hashizumi. Number
11,
5, Naomi
Kazuki
Iwata.
Onodera.
Number 6, Eri
Number
Ichikawa.
12, Chika
Number
Ohashi.
7, Nozomi Tanaka. Number 8 is Manami
Number 13,
Okada.
Narumi Nukui.
Number 9, Mirai Tamaki.
Number 14,
Number 10,
Saki
Asuka
Matsuda.
Nu. Number 11,
Number
Kazuki
15,
Onodera.
Atsuki Nakata.
Number 12, Chika
Number
Ohashi.
16,
Number
Saki
13,
Sekiguchi.
Narumi Nukui. Number 14, Masaki Makita. Number 15, Hatsuki Nakata. Number 16, Saki Sekiguchi. Number 17, Kyoko Kuejima. And number 18, Rei Ikeda. And a bit later on, I'll go ahead and introduce you to the officials and coaches. As for now,
Manager leader.
we'll go through the national anthems.
Manager, Wu Watanabe. Physio, Ryohei Terada. Team Japan. Introducing our umpires, Pavel Urban, Wooly Smith, Rochelle Cox, Sarah Benbow. Our technical delegates, Nancy Kaufman, Sandy Goldthorpe. Our technical delegates, Cheryl Green McNeil, Suzanne Kirkby.
Just give you a bit of update on the weather here. I think it could be best described as Scottish. We've had probably 8 rainstorms today. Some nice bits of rain. You can have 4 seasons one day here in Scotland, and that's been the case. Okay, starting with the New Zealand national anthem. Okay, that's the national anthem for New Zealand.
And now the national anthem of
Now the
Japan.
national anthem of Japan. And there you have it, the Japanese national anthem. How exciting is it for these young players to have a chance to play for their countries? So we're at the Peppermill playing fields. This is in Edinburgh, Scotland. And I started to say a bit about the weather. So currently it's just spitting light rain, but it's pretty wind-driven. So it's a little chilly for those of us standing about. Shouldn't bother the players too much, though. Just now they're lining up to exchange gifts. Part of the tradition of international competition.
Hang on, our bag's being coffee.
So let me introduce the officials. Pavel Urban is the lead umpire, along with Uli Smid and Rochelle Cox. On the sidelines, helping the officials are the technical delegates. They are Cheryl Green McNeil and Suzanne Kirkby.
Yeah. The garden gnome.
The grumpy garden gnome.
Well, the game will start in a few minutes. That gives me a chance to introduce the coaches from the teams. Head coach of the Japanese team is Masakazi Nakajima. Again, apologies. The assistant coaches are Kazuya Shikanami and Yoko Shibata. Trainers Ryohei Terada. And the leader, the manager is Miyako Sekida. And the match is about to begin. I'll get to the New Zealand coaches as time permits. Just now, the captains are meeting with the officials in the middle of the pitch. Players are on the sidelines meeting with their coaches. It's been a terrific day of competition on this first day. I'll kind of recap some of the action from earlier in the day, but I will tell you the opening ceremonies this morning were terrific. Again, there were sunny spells and rainy spells just during that one ceremony, but there was traditional Scottish music and dance, all the teams parading out onto the pitch with their flags. Energy was great. It was a wonderful ceremony. Really kicked things off. Just quickly, the New Zealand coaches. Remington Steele is the head coach. Philippa Cowper is the assistant coach manager. Jess Evans is an assistant coach. Amy Rutledge is a manager. And Claire Miller is their physiotherapist. So that's your coaching staff for New Zealand. And in just a few minutes, we'll begin the match. For those of you not familiar with lacrosse, there will be 11 field players on the pitch, along with one goalie for each team. We're setting up for the first draw here, and what you'll see is there are two athletes that will, one from each team that will meet in the center, and will do the draw, which is a bit like a jump ball in basketball. If you're familiar with basketball, I'll explain the technicalities of it perhaps a bit later. And then outside the circle, you have 4 players from each team. And then the remaining players must remain outside the restraining lines. So you'll see 3 players from each team outside the 2 restraining lines. So each team has 5 players in the middle part of the pitch, and then 3 players on the outside, and then of course the goalies on the end. Okay, we're setting up for the first draw here. And essentially what's happening here is the umpire is going to place the ball between the sticks of the two opposing players, and he'll back away, and on the whistle, the players will attempt to pull the ball or push the ball, depending on how they're set up, towards their attacking end of the pitch. Draws are a very important part of lacrosse, as possession of draws often leads to the difference in the match. And here's the first draw. And that's possession to New Zealand on the draw control. So New Zealand now will look to move the ball into their attacking end. Often a team will try to fast break first, attempt to score quickly, and then slow break, which are kind of running here as you see them move the ball around the crease. Often the defense is unsettled and they have an opportunity to score there. And if that's not on, they'll often settle the ball and try to do a set play. And New Zealand did lose the ball there, still scramble for it. Both teams fighting for the ball, but Japan have committed a foul, so it's ball to New Zealand.
Georgia up for the ball. Hey, Sammy, defender, straight back, all right? Get off, Phoebe! Roll away, Phoebe, behind! Phoebe, behind!
So New Zealand being very careful with possession here. You may notice they're not really pushing the ball up the pitch too quickly. Possession is so important in lacrosse, so you don't always have to be in a hurry. You want to get a good look at goal and convert it into a goal. Japan are not applying too much pressure outside, giving New Zealand the opportunity to move the ball around. That's a more conservative approach. New Zealand moving the ball around, looking for opportunities to drive, or if there are cutters that get open, they can feed to the cutters who have the opportunity to score inside. There was a good cut from number 15 just there. Number 10 didn't quite see her to deliver the ball. All right, number 12 working it around, looking for an opportunity.
Challenge, challenge, challenge!
New Zealand being very patient in their attack here. This is often a good strategy. There's no rush to score. You really want to get a high percentage look, a good opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net. To go quickly and to take a shot that is perhaps saved by the goalie or is turned over, then you have to run the whole length of the pitch and play defense when you've only just arrived in your own attacking area. So this is a good patient approach by New Zealand. Unfortunately, that pass went awry. Japan had a chance to grab it there, but it's back to New Zealand. Number 5 bringing it behind. Behind the cage is often a safe place to bring the ball because teams often will not pressure back there. The umpire has pulled what is called a slow flag. See, she's raised the yellow flag in the air. That means there was a foul committed, but she's allowing the play to continue on in case that attacker perhaps wants to take a shot on goal. If she chooses not to take a shot on goal, then the penalty is enforced. So we have number 1 for New Zealand with the first real scoring opportunity here. Free position. And she's converted it. And even though they've signaled a goal, it's not quite a goal yet. What happens now is the umpires will make sure it is a legal pocket in her stick. You see, I don't know if you can see on your screens, but the umpire is checking it, and she will signal the stick is fine, and then the goal counts. That's 1 goal to New Zealand from number 1. Number 1 is Ella Ransley. Terrific job there. And now we set up for the next straw.
Goal for New Zealand, scored by number 1, Ella Ransley.
It appears that a Japanese player perhaps either went inside the circle too early or fouled a player on the way in. Yeah, it looks like she went in too early, so it's possession to New Zealand again. These draws are so important because possession means goals. Number 10 with the ball again, New Zealand being patient, working the ball around, looking for scoring opportunities. Nice roll dodge there from Ella Ransley again. She didn't get a look at goal, so she passed the ball back out. That's being safe with it. Rather than take a low percentage shot, she chose to keep the possession. Japan are pressuring out a bit more now, trying to take New Zealand out of that game plan, forcing them to move the ball. It's number 5, Tiga Edmonds, having a look at goal. Didn't like what she saw, so she pulled it out to number 10, Georgia Carter. We have a whistle. I didn't quite see the call. Appears to have been a foul off the ball. We can't quite suss out what it is. In any case, it's possession to Japan. The goalie has the ball. There is no time limit. She can hold the ball as long as she likes. Again, she's going to be very patient in possession here. But New Zealand is starting to pressure. And typically, goaltenders are not the best ball handlers, so she's going to want to get the ball out of her stick if she's under pressure. She was fouled from behind there. So number 2, Moyo Takamoto, the goalie, will maintain possession. The clock has been stopped because Japan is offsides. So that means if you have more than 7 players on either the attacking or defensive portion of the field beyond the restraining line, then that is a penalty. So Japan will give up the ball to New Zealand at this point. Umpires are discussing how to do the restart here.
Georgia, stay goalie! Georgia, stay goalie!
Well, I've got it wrong somehow because Japan has maintained possession. And off they go in transition. So transition is also another important part of lacrosse. You want to get the ball up the pitch as quickly as you can. Running it works, but it's not the fastest way. The fastest way is to pass the ball. The ball moves faster than your feet is what we say. Good change of field there. Switching fields is a good way to beat a lot of pressure in the midfield. And they've done a good job of it there, Japan. And New Zealand are applying a lot of midfield pressure. Japan are trying to get it through, and they've done so. They're now in their attacking portion of the pitch. They've taken it behind, and will set up their first play. Nice feed inside, but a nice triple team there by New Zealand. Unfortunately, too much contact there. And as that foul was inside the 11-meter fan, it will be a free position. So the player who was fouled will now get the ball on the 11-meter hash, and the player who fouled her will go behind, 4 meters behind. They clear all other players out of the 11-meter fan. So typically you have a wide open look at the goal, which he does. That's number 7 from Japan. Nozomi Tanaka. She has scored upon confirmation that her stick is legal. And that's confirmed. So it's 1-1 now.
Goal for Japan, scored by number 7, Nozomi Tanaka.
So that's 1-1 with 22:50 left in the first half. These are 30-minute halves, by the way. the clock is running even if the whistle blows during the match. If there's a goal, the clock is stopped, but the clock does run until the last 2 minutes, and then the clock is stopped at every whistle. Players are competing for the draw here. New Zealand picks it up. It's number 5, Tegan Edmonds. She's pushing up fast break, slow break here. So there was a foul on the cutter there. So the New Zealand cutter was coming through the 11-meter fan. Japanese player fouled her with a push, so now she is put behind. That's number 14 of Japan. And we have a free position here for number 22 in New Zealand. Oh, a nice bounce shot there. That's number 22, Samantha Highland.
Goal for New Zealand, scored by number 22, Samantha Highland. That makes the score New Zealand 2, Japan 1.
I think what we're seeing is an example of how important it is to not foul within the 11-meter fan. The penalty for that is quite expensive. You get essentially a free run at goal, and the last 2 goals were scored off a free position. So you want to clean up your play inside the 11-meter fan. Okay, here we are with the next draw. As you know, draws are an important part of the match, so let's see who takes it. Yeah, again, there was an early start on the Japanese player, so she went into the circle before the whistle was blown. So possession to New Zealand. A couple technical mistakes really from Japan, but it's their first match of the tournament. We'll allow them some jitters. Didn't quite see what caused this, but what we have is a throw. Yeah, so what we have is an inadvertent whistle, I'm told. So they accidentally blew the whistle. So what they do, rather than award possession to either team, they do a throw. It's a bit like a jump ball in basketball. So they throw it between the 2 players and they compete for it. New Zealand have taken possession. And off they go. There's often a foul that results with the scramble for the ball. When the ball goes to ground, that's called a ground ball. It's a big part of lacrosse, and players are taught to be quite aggressive and quite physical in trying to get that ball. So it's not unusual to have fouls when players are competing for ground balls, which is what happened there. New Zealand player got a little aggressive, and so Japan is awarded the ball. Number 13 from Japan bringing the ball up the pitch. That is Narumi Nikui, and Japan are setting up their settled offense. They bring it behind. Starting with a crease roll there, that's a type of attack where the player behind goes around the crease, which is the circle that's around the goal, and attempts to score. It didn't work, so she moved it up top. Number 13 took a shot that actually hit one of her own players. New Zealand picked up the ground ball, and off they go. It's number 18, Georgia Archer, running it up the pitch in transition. Move the ball behind to number 15, Elise Windsor. And New Zealand are doing what they were doing before, which is moving the ball around the outside in a very patient way, looking for opportunities to drive or to feed, so they have an opportunity to shoot and score. Well, there's no rain at all now. It's still a bit windy here at Peppermill Playing Fields in Edinburgh, Scotland. Sun's actually kind of out a bit. It's been that kind of day. All right, nice double team by Japan there, but New Zealand was able to pass out of it. We have a slow flag, so the umpire is holding up a flag, having seen a penalty. And if New Zealand chooses to stop their attack, then that penalty will be enforced. That's a nice crease roll there from New Zealand, but a nice double team from Japan. Good feed to the middle, but again we had a slow flag. This slow flag is a 3-second call. So a 3-second call essentially is the defending team cannot be within the 11-meter fan for more than 3 seconds unless they're within a stick's length of an attacking player. In other words, you can't really play a zone. You can't camp out in front of the goal hoping to play defense. So that's a 3-second call. It's a major penalty. So number 6 is put behind from Japan, and number 15 of New Zealand, Elise Windsor, has an opportunity to score off a free position here. And she puts it in the back of the net. Umpires have checked the stick. It is legal. So we now have New Zealand 3, Japan 1.
New Zealand scorer number 15, Elise Windsor. Windsor's goal makes the score New Zealand 3, Japan 1.
18 minutes, 23 seconds left on the clock. So these players have been in Edinburgh for several days now and had the opportunity to move into their rooms at Pollock Halls, which is one of the dormitories here at the University of Edinburgh. And they've had team activities and practices on the pitches, and they've had a nice few days, but now it's down to competition. Draw to Tegan Edmonds again. Oh, really a nice save from the Japan goalie. Now, that ball went out of bounds off a shot, and when the ball goes out of bounds off a shot, the player that is closest to the end line when the ball goes out of bounds is awarded the ball. Not true of a pass, but it's true of a shot. So the New Zealand player was closest, so they maintain possession. So now Elise Windsor's holding the ball behind. She's looking to feed. They've got cutters up top. So they're running what's called a stack. So there's a stack at the top of the 11-meter, and the cutters just try to come off of that stack, trying to find some separation from their defender. It also creates an isolation for the feeder, and Elise Windsor has taken advantage of that isolation by driving to goal. In a 1v1 situation, the attacker often has the advantage, and Elise Windsor took advantage of it there.
Goal for New Zealand, score by number 15, Elise Windsor. Windsor's goal makes the score New Zealand 4, Japan 1.
So we're at New Zealand 4, Japan 1. 17 minutes, 31 seconds. I assume that was a Japan timeout that was just called. I get a thumbs up on that. It's confirmed. Japan has called timeout. They want to talk about it a little bit. I think what they need to talk about is being less aggressive in the 11, giving up too many free positions in there, and perhaps putting a little more pressure on New Zealand to take them out of their game plan. Just before we get back in action, just to recap some of the games that were played today on this first day of the U-19 World Championship. Australia has beat the Czech Republic. Finland beat Colombia. Finland and Colombia were both first-time teams to the U-19 tournament, so good for them. Israel beat Republic of Korea 3-2 in overtime, and Israel and Korea are also first-time participants. England have beaten Wales, and here we are, New Zealand versus Japan, ready to take the draw. Well, the timeout seems to have worked. Japan have won the draw. Number 4 is bringing it into the attacking area. They're pulling it out and settling now. That's a charge on Japan. So she came in a little bit out of control, the Japanese attacker. The New Zealand defenders took good body position, and by the attacker running into the defender, that's a charge, and so it's ball to New Zealand. So again, Japan need to clean it up a little bit on the physicality of the play. Oh, terrific interception from number 3 of Japan there, one-handed catch. So Japan get another look at it here. Well, they look much more aggressive coming out of that timeout. And in that case, number 4 again was driving into a double team, but she was fouled when she arrived. So number 8 from New Zealand is put 4 meters behind. And it happened inside the 11 meters, so the fan is cleared. It's a free position opportunity. She took one step, shot a high shot that was quite easy for the New Zealand goalie to catch, but there's been a New Zealand crease violation. So the ball is being awarded to Japan. They'll take the ball off to the side of the cage. Everybody else must hold their positions. The player that made the crease violation is put behind her. So Japan should have a look at goal here. Oh, it was a good feed, but again a high shot. Now Japan have shot that ball, missed the goal, but the New Zealand player was closer to the end line, so it is New Zealand ball. Typically an attacking team will try to cover that by, we call it backing up the play. And Japan didn't quite back it up there. That's a foul in Japan. Number 25 from New Zealand to bring the ball up the pitch. Japan are looking to double team, perhaps triple team here. Applying good pressure. And New Zealand did a terrific job of what we call the drop and switch. So she passed backwards and then they switch sides of the pitch where there's much less pressure. And true to form, they're able to bring the ball up the pitch. Now Japan have shifted and they're providing triple team pressure on the ball again on the other side. So they're attempting another drop and switch, but somebody stepped out of bounds. The New Zealand coach is calling for fire. I think it's a defense. Number 16 from Japan has the ball. She's holding it up top just now. They're settling, letting all the attackers flow into the attacking portion of the pitch. Catching their breath a bit so they get a good look at goal here. It's very smart. When the run of play hasn't been going your way, you want to stop and catch your breath for a second and then run something that works. Number 4 is a terrific dodger. They seem to be running their attack through her. Nice feed from number 10. Number 3 didn't quite bring it in. There was a shot, but it was on the side of the goal. It may have looked like it gone in, but it hadn't. So New Zealand are off. Number 21 bringing the ball. Out, looking upfield for the transition pass. Good pressure. Oh, she stepped out of bounds. Lost track of where the line was. So that's ball to Japan. So we're 4-1, New Zealand versus Japan. 13-15 remaining in the match in the first half. Not in the match, but in the first half. Again, number 21 of New Zealand trying to bring the ball up the pitch. She's got some good pressure, so she looks to switch field. Nicely done. Now that once New Zealand has broken Japan's pressure, Japan will drop in. In other words, circle up into the... So they are dropping in to kind of provide a more conservative defense. So Japan are quite settled now, allowing New Zealand again to kind of move the ball around. There's a massive substitution going on. 4 New Zealand players coming off, 1 Japanese player coming off. So fresh legs on the pitch. There we go. So New Zealand has been holding the ball until their subs were able to come into the attacking portion. Everybody's in place, and so now they begin to run their play. Up. And New Zealand have now done some defensive subs as well. New Zealand coaches have called in a particular play here, so they'll look to settle the ball and run their play. Looks like a stack off the elbow. The elbow is the side of the 11-meter fan. Now they've moved that stack up to the top. So they scored off the stack play last time. Not off the cutters off the stack, but off the 1v1 isolation that's created by that. Good anticipation from number 8 of Japan, who's intercepted that pass, has a free run up the pitch. It's a game of speed. They call it the fastest game on 2 feet lacrosse. And number 5 showed tremendous speed to get to that Japanese attacker and force her to pass the ball away. All right, so number 9 of Japan is going to hold the ball on the outside until her fellow attackers come in. It's passed off to number 18. Oh, nice look. Feed from number 10 to number 9, who scored. And so if they confirm that her stick is legal, this brings us to 4-2 New Zealand over Japan, with just 11 minutes remaining in the first half. It is confirmed. 4-2 is the score.
Goal for Japan, scored by number 9, Hirei Tamaki. Assistant number 10, Asuka No.
Really a sign of high-level lacrosse is you see a lot of goals scored off assists, and that's what we saw there. When one player feeds the ball to another, it's more of a team-oriented approach, and it requires a higher level of skill. Here at the U-19 level, they don't quite have the consistency yet to pull that off every time, but a really nice job from Japan there. And here we have the draw to Japan, number 13, who took the draw, brought in her own draw control, we call it. She's looking to push, takes a shot and scores right off the draw, 13 unassisted. And her stick is confirmed, so it is 4-3 now with 10 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half.
Number 13, Ruben Yokui. That goal makes the score New Zealand 4, Japan 3.
I'd have to say that timeout was well used by Japan because they come out really with renewed energy here. Scored 2 goals here. It's now a 1-goal match. Draw control is so important to this game, so as coaches we always watch the draws, make sure everybody is putting in full effort trying to win this ball. The team that wins the most draws typically wins the match, so this is obviously a critical moment in the game. Nice strong draw from Japan, but it went straight to number 8 in New Zealand, and she's fouled as she's trying to find space for herself. Number 16 goes behind. And number 8 from New Zealand looks to move it up the pitch. I have to say the weather has gotten quite a bit milder here. As we began the match, it was heavy wind and spitting rain, and now it's a bit of sun and the wind has calmed down. It's really delightful. All right, number 11 from Japan looks to get the ball out of her defensive area. Long pass to number 13, well done. Her eyes are upfield. She's looking for a pass, but her teammates aren't really getting open for her. But she did find number 3. Pushing middle here, which is what she wants to do. Looking to find a lane to goal. She found one and scores in the corner. We have a tie game if this stick is confirmed. Yes, that goal is confirmed. Kaoru Hirano, number 3, scored that goal unassisted.
Goal for Japan.
And now it's timeout for New Zealand. 3 goals in a row for Japan, so New Zealand's going to have a chat.
That goal makes the score Japan 4, New Zealand 4.
And of course, as coaches, we use timeouts, sometimes just to change the momentum of the game, just to create a little disruption. Japan got on a bit of a run there. New Zealand wants to stop it. Plus, they want to correct any errors they see, of course, in the tactics. So just to recap, 4-4 tie with 9 minutes and 36 seconds to go in this match, New Zealand against Japan at the 2015 FIL Rathbones Women's Under-19 World Championship at Peppermill Playing Fields at the University of Edinburgh, Scotland. My name's Dave Simpson. I'm the head coach of the Scotland senior national team. We are here to have our final training weekend before we go to the European Championships, which commence in the Czech Republic in about 15 days. So we're very excited for that. And so I've been asked to come along to the web stream and just give a bit of commentary and a bit of instruction on the match. So I welcome you all. All right, ready to take the next draw after New Zealand's timeout. See if it creates a shift in momentum. Number 3, very energetic in the draw area. However, there was a foul in there somewhere, and so possession goes to number 25 in New Zealand. Number 3 goes behind. So she committed the foul going for that ground ball. As I said, there often are fouls as players are scrambling for loose balls. Nice speedy transition for number 25. That's Savannah McAdamy-Rash from New Zealand, pushing the ball up. So she's looking to fast break. That's to go directly to goal. Slow break is where you go really quickly as you can around the crease, looking to create an opportunity to attack an unsettled defense. And that wasn't on for her. Good attempt, though. And now they pull back and settle. Number 11, Japan, gave a bit of a push to number 25 as she gave up that pass. So she's been awarded a free position here. And she converts it. That's 25, Savannah McAdamy-Rash with the free position goal. And we're at 5 to New Zealand, 4 to Japan. 8 minutes, 26 seconds remain.
Goal for New Zealand, scored by number 25, Savannah McAdamy-Rash.
It's always satisfying to a coach to score off a timeout.
That goal puts New Zealand up 5-4.
So well done to New Zealand for that well-timed timeout. Each team has used one timeout. You get 2 in the course of the match. So coming up to halftime, we'll have about a 10-minute halftime, and then we'll come out for the second half of this match. 30 minutes each half. Well taken by 22 of New Zealand. But Japan are fiery on their pressure, though. They're trying to double team the ball in the field. New Zealand know how to do the drop. They didn't switch this time. They sent it straight back up the pitch. Sometimes as you're trying to transition up the pitch, the only space you can find is behind you. So it's not unusual for a team to retreat. Here you see it here, a pass back, and then they have an opportunity to try and find another lane to move up the pitch. Unfortunately, the white line around the outside of the pitch is more visible than the orange line, which is the actual sideline. So that's twice now in this match we've seen them go out of bounds, not realizing that the line was just there. Number 9 of Japan pushing the ball up the pitch. Good pressure from 16 to keep her outside so she can't get in the critical scoring area. Doesn't get a look at goal. We've backed it up to number 14 now, who makes a nice feed to number 18, who has a terrific shot, deflected by the goalie. The goalie's back competing for the ball. She's given it up. Number 16 very wisely rolled the ball into the crease. The goalie went in and picked it up and has a nice clear to number 28, and New Zealand are off to the races. Nice transition. So we're on fast break. She's looking for late cutters here. Everybody has arrived, so they'll go right into their settled attack. Nice roll dodge there. So roll dodge is when you go into your defender and effectively spin. You look like you're going to go one direction and then you spin the other direction, doing a 360, and it sometimes can give you a good look at goal. That was a terrific spin dodge just then. Okay, they've stopped the clock on the pitch. The technical director and the umpires are having a consultation here. Something to do with the goalie. It may be an equipment issue with the goalie. Yeah, whoop. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption there. One of my papers is just blown away by the wind that just picked up. Very nice person is picking it up for me. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I wouldn't know who the New Zealand players are. Yeah, so back to action then. So the New Zealand player, it appears that her chest protector has come unstrapped, and so they are putting it back on with tape, it appears, because the strap is broken. It must have happened in that play when she was running behind. So this is an official's timeout here. Not charged to either team. Safety is very important consideration in lacrosse. When you have balls that are harder than a cricket ball or a baseball flying around, and you have players with sticks, sometimes aggressive players with sticks, the opportunity for injury is really there. So very wise of the umpires to stop the action to let the goalie's protection be put back in place. Okay, New Zealand are doing their stack high again, so they've got the stack and they're exploiting the 1v1 below. Number 22 off the isolation scores, and with the confirmation of her stick, that will be 6-4 to New Zealand with 6:19 remaining.
Goal for New Zealand, scoring number 16, Phoebe Bardul. Bardul's goal makes the score New Zealand 6, Japan 4.
So that was 16, Phoebe Bardul. On a terrific 1v1 opportunity there. I coach my players whenever you get the 1v1 to try and take advantage of it. We teach attacking players dodges.
Goal, number 22, Samantha Highland.
Oh, sorry, that was Samantha Highland on the goal there. I'm sorry. So yeah, we teach our players to exploit 1v1 opportunities because the attacker has just that first step advantage that she can do a dodge and create space on a defender. So they're wise to take advantage of that isolation opportunity. Here's the draw. Number 5, Tegan Edmonds has taken quite a few draw controls, and here she takes another. New Zealand are happy to kind of settle here. They're not pushing up too quickly. Just 6 minutes left on the clock here in the first half. Got a 2-goal lead here, New Zealand, so they want to be very smart with the ball here. Get only high percentage looks. They're doing another isolation to number 22 again, but Japan have sent fire. That means sending a double team to put pressure on that ball. So it's no longer a 1v1, it's a 1v2. 2 defenders, 1 attacker. And it was effective in that it took New Zealand out of that play. Unfortunately, there was a foul that happened along the way, so number 10 is put behind. Number 36 attempts a feed. The ball's loose now. Both teams competing for this ground ball. New Zealand scoops it. Shot from New Zealand there, again, because it was a shot. The ball went out of bounds. Whichever player is nearest the end line gets the ball. And that's number 15 for New Zealand. She was well positioned, backing up the play, we call it. Backing up the shot. So much more pressure from Japan here. They're not allowing New Zealand to just stand outside and pass it around any longer. But of course the risk of that is that if you get beat, then that player has a free run to goal often, and that's what number 16 for New Zealand attempted there. But good help from the other Japanese defenders. 4 minutes, 20 seconds remain. New Zealand 6, Japan 4. Okay, free position for number 1. Good save from the goal, Japan number 1 player, the goalie. She's now going to walk it out. She has 10 seconds that she has to remove the ball from the crease. The crease is a circle that goes around the cage. Very important part of lacrosse. She must not bring the ball back in that crease now. She kind of danced quite close to it there. There is no time limit here. She can hold the ball as long as she likes. Again, she wants a high percentage pass here. So all the Japanese players that are in the middle of the pitch are looking for opportunities to break open. They'll often set picks for each other. Oh, there comes number 5 right up the middle. Should be an easy look there. There she is. That's a good clear for Japan. Now they've got to get it safely up the pitch and get another opportunity to score, down 2 goals with just 3 minutes remaining in the match. In the half. All right, Japan moving it safely behind. Now New Zealand are pressuring behind, so that takes Japan out of their comfort zone there. They've got to keep the ball moving. Shot from number 10 of Japan there, but as a coach, you would coach her not to take the shot from that angle. There just wasn't enough there. It's too easy for the goalie to cover that space. So not the wisest shot selection there. Well, here we have our first free space goal. So shooting space is kind of an interesting rule in lacrosse. We'll let this play resolve. I'll explain it a bit. Oh, it's a save by the New Zealand goalie. I promised to get back to shooting space. Okay, now's a good time. So shooting space, when an attacker is coming into the attacking area and she is looking to shoot, any defender that is further away than 1 stick's length must not be in a direct line between the ball and the goal. The reasoning there is that a defender might just stand in front of the goal and the attacker would be then tempted and maybe even required to shoot right at her. It would be an extremely unsafe play. So we call that shooting space. The person shooting should have free space to goal. And so as soon as the umpire sees that somebody is in free position, she will blow her whistle because it's obviously a dangerous play. The attacking player must refrain from shooting the ball, otherwise she will be penalized as well, and then she's given a free position opportunity. Often one of the most confusing plays in lacrosse, free position. Okay, so the Japanese player ran through the crease there, crease violation. So the ball goes to the New Zealand goalie. Again, as a coach, these technical mistakes will kind of drive you nuts. So New Zealand have another chance to move it up the pitch with just a minute left. Within the last 2 minutes, we are now in stop clock, and that means anytime there's a whistle, the clock will stop. The rest of the match, the clock runs continuously, unless there's a goal. 45 seconds left. Not a good time for a turnover from a coach's point of view and from New Zealand's point of view here. So Japan have 45 seconds to get a goal back. Some teams will hold the ball here and attempt to take the very last shot. But Japan have chosen to go right to goal. Little feed opportunity to number 4. Just missed off the post. Again, Japan haven't backed up the play. New Zealand's ball because they were closest to the end line. 35 seconds remain. New Zealand 6, Japan 4. So we'll drop it into the goalie here. So New Zealand has a choice. It can either move it up the pitch for last shot or maybe just hold it and let the half run out. And that, in fact, is what New Zealand is doing. There is no time limit. Oh, she is going to move the ball up for the last shot. 15 seconds remain. New Zealand might have been wiser to hold it, but it won't cost them. 3 seconds remain. And that ends the first half of play. New Zealand 6, Japan 4. The teams will now have a 10-minute halftime. They'll meet with their coaches. They'll rehydrate. They'll see their physio if they need to. And they'll come back on the pitch for the second half. I'll see you in 10 minutes.